United States is known for having a very big tipping culture. This is quite different to Colombia's tipping culture or lack of a tipping culture. While it's not mandatory, it is customary in many circumstances to tip for certain services. This goes without saying, it's like an unwritten rule. Let's take a look at some of the services it's customary to tip for in the US. The list may be long, but don't fret. Just keep in mind the following if you travel to the US. Even though tipping practices can vary depending on the location, there are some common services in which tipping should always apply. Tipping is important for many service industry workers because they make below minimum wage for their salary. They are working hard to give you good service for these tips to earn a living wage. Tipping culture can have its benefits as you will find generally the level of service will be higher in the US than somewhere where tipping culture is not the norm. Well, what if you receive bad service? Do you have to tip? Never feel obliged to tip. However, if you consider that everyone has a bad day at work, maybe you should still think about giving them something. Usually, tipping less than the standard minimum will get the point across that you thought the service was bad.
So, what is my experience with tipping in Colombia? Tipping in Colombia is a lot simpler. I like it a lot more. I immediately appreciated when I got here that going out to eat or if you take a taxi ride, it is just a lot clearer what is expected. I don't take taxis that often in the US, so I never want to offend the driver by giving too little, but obviously I don't want to give more than I have to. Or if you go out to eat with a group of friends, when the check comes, there's always this awkward discussion about how much is customary to leave. Different people have different percentages, or some people think you should reward or punish really good or bad service with your tip, which is not something that everyone does. So there's a lot more gray area in the US. I appreciate that here it's simpler. When the check comes or when you ask for the check, they say, do you want to add service? And it's yes or no. There's no debate about the amount. It's just yes or no. So I appreciate that about the etiquette around tipping here.
My name is Nicolas, and today I'll be telling you a funny story about tipping in the States. I went to visit my friend in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the States. And it was the first night I had arrived there. My friend, she had to go work, so I decided to go out with her husband. And we see this limo. The limo driver just told us, hey, do you guys want to go to a really cool club? I mean, I can take you guys there. Sure, why not? I mean, it's our first night in Vegas. So we hop on the limo. He's driving us to the destination. We're taking pictures, having fun. I mean, we were like, wow, this is so cool. So we arrive at the club and we get off and we just thank the guy, you know. As we're walking off, the guy screams at us like, hey, guys, what are you doing? You do know we live on tips, don't you? We're like, sorry? We thought this was a favor. And he looked at us like, oh, these foreigners, they just don't know what they're talking about. So he said, no, actually, I drive people to different places and, you know, we expect a tip. I didn't have any cash on me because I took my credit card. My friend didn't have any cash on him. He only uses credit cards as well. I just took out the credit card and I just told the guy, hey, sorry, do you accept credit cards? He was just like, oh no. Make sure to tip the waiter, tip the driver. This is something that is very cultural, common in the States. I recommend that you do this and I hope it's useful for you. Take care.